Welcome back to Soul Reaver 2. In the last video, we have seen a lot of plot, we have seen a lot of scenes, we have seen a lot of dialogue between Raziel and old familiar characters from Soul Reaver. First with Kain at the pillars, now with the Elder God, who now has an actual design and is essentially a giant squid with a lot of eyes. And now that this is over with, the game is actually going to give us a little bit of a break as far as plot goes, and we're not going to have any of major plot bombs. And we will instead have one large throwback to Blood Omen. This would happen on camera, of course. Now there's one thing that I want to clarify so that nobody is left wondering about what the hell am I doing. I will be fighting every single enemy we encounter on the way to our next destination. The reason for that is unorthodox. It's my own practice. The thing is, in the location that is to come in the next part, we will encounter an extremely frustrating enemy to fight, or enemies to fight. They will require me to be able to basically use all the features of the combat system in the game, because they will be abusing the... they will be using a lot of blocks, meaning that I will not be able to defeat them by simply swinging at them. I will have to use lunges, I will have to use crouched attacks, I will have to learn to find a dodge, and I did that in my practice run as I was playing ahead, and I am still doing it here because they are really frustrating to fight. That is, if I don't want to let the Reaver eat up my entire health, which I honestly will not want to do in that part. By the way, I have focused the camera, focused the attention a minute ago on that statue, and we will be coming back, but right now we cannot do anything about it.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius's time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
That will come quite a bit later. Now, this area is actually called Swamp in-game, but this is not just any swamp. This is actually a forest, specifically the Termagant Forest. If you are familiar with the series, well, mostly with either Soul Reaver 2, this game, if you know what's going on, or with the original Blood Omen, then you know what it is, and what we are going to encounter here, and why it is a throwback to Blood Omen. If you are not familiar, then I strongly suggest that you familiarize yourself with what's going on in Blood Omen and Termagant Forest. I did a Let's Play on Blood Omen, but I would actually advise against watching it because it's hard to listen to. I didn't know how to set up audio. And this is me showing off how Raziel moves in this swamp water, and how to work around it.
So, my lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered, but I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the monstrous assassin depicted in the Stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him. But first I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
And before doing that, let us take a look at the terrace itself. Specifically at the symbols here. We see the images of the Reaver, and we see a symbol with two concentric circles, one half eclipsing the other. What could that mean, we wonder? I wonder. No, I don't. You don't either, I know that. I'm sorry, these things will not happen again. Yes, you see sometimes Raziel executes this move where he lunges at an enemy. That's called the lunge, and that's actually one of the most effective moves in the game, but it's very difficult to perform on keyboard and mouse setup because it requires me to move Raziel with my mouse towards the enemy while attacking at the same time. So it takes practice. Another thing about these lunges is that they are actually more effective with Raziel's claws than with anything else, than with swords or poleaxes, or even, but to a lesser extent, the Reaver. With the weapons, Raziel actually lunges at an enemy and makes a penetrating motion, whereas with just his claws, he swings them inside. I'm not sure how to say this. I have a brain fart, but I hope you understand what I mean. And it covers more area, and thus the enemy is easier to hit, even if the attack itself deals less damage. Which is why I am not picking up any weapons here.
There appeared to be a passage here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles. Prepare to die.
The reason why I have been silent for these few seconds is that I was thinking about these Raziel's words, and you know, Soul Reaver 2 really uses that a lot. Because like Soul Reaver, it has a lot of backtracking, but Soul Reaver 2 is actually going to show you in advance what exactly are you incapable of reaching at a given point in time, and what you will be able to reach with more equipment / abilities, because in this game they're the same thing. I'm not sure whether I really like it or whether this is not a very smart idea. Because on the one hand, obviously it's better than what you had in Soul Reaver, where you either knew what you were doing or you weren't. No, you didn't know what you were doing.
My lurking friend was nowhere to be seen, but I found these ruins even more intriguing. I recognized these arcane symbols from the chamber beneath the pillars, and realized that this shrine too was sealed to all but the bearer of the Reaver.
Here you end up forgetting by the time you have the equipment. This is a thrall. Don't fight them unless you absolutely have to, they like to block. Also, I have trouble pronouncing the word thrall, so I will just call them zombies from here on out. They come in two varieties, one with swords, they attack in melee, and sorcerers, which spit at you, which attack you from range, and they are the more annoying kind as they can block you as you're moving. Dark Forge next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.